Hi Katie.
Hey Sarah.
It's wonderful to meet up with you again here on Treffpunkt Klassik.
It's always great to see you.
You mentioned that you have a video recording later on today.
Yeah, I'm actually performing a concert which will later become a series of music videos.
And you're recording in a shopping center, right?
Yes, in the Oval in the Europark.
That's cool, I heard about it. It has become a very hip and popular concert venue here in the Mozartstadt.
I mean, when you think of Salzburg, of course, you always think of Mozart and Baroque buildings. But like everywhere else in the world, Salzburg also has a modern side. And the Europark has actually been awarded as one of Europe's best shopping centers.
Mozart might have even enjoyed shopping in the Europark. I heard he loved clothes.
He did. He loved beautiful clothes.
So what repertoire are you going to record today?
A contemporary program of works by Gershwin, Bernstein, and Debussy.
You see more and more music videos these days. They have become an essential marketing tool, even in classical music.
I mean, like every other type of music, classical music also has to adapt to the times.
But I have the feeling that for you those videos are more than just marketing tools. They seem to tell stories with images and places.
Music is such a universal language, and I think that the reason that it speaks to humanity is because it's a reflection of life, and it's a reflection of the things that make us human, our emotions, our feelings, our memories, and our impressions. And each single piece has its own history, and it is a reflection of its composer's time and place and feelings. And so I believe that if you can bring that to life, then people can relate to the music so much more.
That makes sense, and as they say, the music has stood the test of time.
That's right, and I mean, music is a part of our culture that should be remembered, and while you should never change great art, you can certainly change the way that it is presented and adapt it to the modern world.
I imagine that composers would probably be amazed, perhaps even stunned, by the possibilities that we have today to discover and experience music.
Yes, I mean, some would have loved it and some would have hated it, of course, but I think that composers were all human beings, and they wrote music because it was their passion and they dedicated their lives to it. So I believe that they would have wanted their music to live on in a modern way and not just be a reflection of the past.
We definitely live in a visually oriented world today. I mean, we have TVs, iPhones, iPads, and YouTube for everything in life. Do you think that makes classical music harder for young people to understand?
I don't think you have to understand classical music to appreciate it because it's such a magical world in its own. But I do think that having to have a visual image for everything in our world today, if you have music for which you are not provided a visual image, it can be more difficult to understand.
Being presented an image for everything often leaves little chance for us to develop our own imagination, right?
That is very true, and so if you can stimulate the imagination by providing some visual connection, then I do believe that it leads to a richer listening experience and a better connection to the music.
Do you always have images in your mind when you play?
Yes, I do. For me, every single piece of music is the beginning of an incredible story.
I can really see that. Have you always thought of music that way?
Yes, because my very first experience in music actually was at 2 years old when my parents took me to hear an opera, to hear the Magic Flute.
Wait, they took you to an opera at the age of 2?
They did indeed, because they were going and I wanted to go too, and so they said okay, but only under the very strict promise that if I would go, I would sit quietly the whole time and really pay attention. And so I said of course I would, otherwise I would have never gotten to go again. And when I was there, it affected me so much, because to hear this incredible music and the beautiful magical staging and the colors and the costumes, I think it made such a big impression on me and really showed me how visual the music could be.
And so what goes through your mind as you prepare a new piece of music?
Well, the most important thing is, how do I portray the background of the piece and the imagery of the piece and my interpretation of that best to my audience.
And how do you project your visual images to your audience when it's just you and the piano on stage?
I think the most important thing is to be sincere and honest in the way that you play the music, because people react to that sincerity. They react to your facial expressions and to your body movements, and they can feel the emotions that you are projecting, and this is the way the music comes alive.
And also the dresses, right?
That's exactly right. You know, I think as a woman we have a wonderful advantage that we can perhaps encourage the audience to feel a certain mood or feeling just by the color or the style of the dress that we wear as we perform.
Okay, Katie, we have to hurry now to catch the bus to the Europark shopping center.
Okay, the bus stop's right over here. Let's go.
It looks beautiful and still totally different to the Marmor Saal where we filmed last time.
Yeah, see, I told you, even Salzburg has a modern side.
That's right. And we just talked about your concert dresses. Yours are so unique and beautiful. I have to ask you this. Where do you get them from?
Well, they're actually designed for me
By whom?
by a wonderful designer called Bobette, who happens to be my mom.
How awesome is that to have a mom who's a designer as well? So, which dresses are you gonna wear today?
Well, I'll show you backstage if you'd like to see.
I'd love to.
Okay. So, voila.
Wow, they're gorgeous.
Thank you.
They're so elegant and fitting to this classical image and still modern and wonderful at the same time.
Well, you know, in this day and age of dressing down, I think it's magical to maintain the elegance of classical music, you know, but at the same time, classical music is also timeless, and so there's nothing wrong with making the dresses modern and elegant.
So, how do you choose the design?
Well, actually, we choose the design to be comfortable for me to play in and to keep me warm because I'm always cold when I'm on stage.
But there's so many different styles, fabrics, and colors that you could choose from.
Yeah, we choose the style and color of the dress to complement the character and mood and imagery of the music.
That's really interesting. I guess when you think about it, all classical concerts have a theatrical element to it. I mean, we're there to watch as well as to listen.
That's right. I mean, the eyes have an incredible power on our perception, and whether you like it or not, if you go to a concert, there is a performer who walks on stage, and you do see that performer unless you close your eyes the whole time, and so that affects your perception of the whole atmosphere.
I imagine composers thought visually too. I mean, Mozart could have never dreamed about something like the Zauberflöte without having a vivid mind.
Yeah, I mean, composers are creative people, and creativity is almost never confined to a single sense.
That's right, and there are even pieces about specific topics or images, right?
Yeah, there certainly are. For instance, the very first piece that I'm playing on this program today, it's called a Reflet dans l'eau, which means reflections in the water. And I mean, let me ask you, if you're sitting in the audience and you see a title of the music that's Reflections in the Water, what color is water for you?
Shades of blue, I'd say.
Yeah, and if you see reflections in that water?
Maybe some yellow for the sun and green for trees?
So how about maybe something like this?
Exactly, that's beautiful.
Yeah, it's blue and green, and the material was selected to represent the shimmering of the water. And then, of course, when you have the lights of the stage, then you get a beautiful goldy hue, which represents sunlight. So, I mean, this is reflections in the water.
That's right. But how do you choose it when the piece doesn't have a specific title or topic?
Well, that's where my artistic imagination comes into play. I think, what is the history of this piece? What was the composer? What was his time and place, his circumstance? And what's the character and mood of the music? And what images does it bring to my mind? And then I do my best to translate my concept of the piece through the background of the piece to the audience.
And so let's talk about specific dresses. What about the red one?
Well, red to me is a color of passion and love, and so this dress actually I will be wearing this time for a piece of music called La Puerta del Vino by Debussy, which is a piece that takes place in Granada, Spain. And when I think of Spain, I think of red, and all of the dramatic contrasts of this piece are represented in this red dress.
It's beautiful. How about the rose gold over there?
This is my Waldstein dress. It was actually designed for a performance of the Waldstein, and I chose this particular color because when I hear this music and close my eyes,
this is the color that I hear. I hear this beautiful calm and serenity and this heavenly joy. But this dress is also designed in a style that should remind you of the golden age of Hollywood. And so consequently today, I'm not wearing it for the Waldstein, but I'm wearing it for a piece of Gershwin called They Can't Take That Away From You.
And next to there's a wonderful colorful one. How about that?
This is my magic flute dress because, I think it reminds me of Papageno. What do you think?
Right, a really elegant Papageno.
And of course, all the colors are kind of remind you of the colorful stage designs that you would imagine with music like the Magic Flute and other works of Mozart. And today I'm actually also wearing this for a piece of music by Debussy called Fireworks, and you can guess why.
That's right. And next, so behind you there is a golden one. What about that?
Yes, this dress is designed to bring to mind the style of Baroque and Rococo art and architecture. And it's going to fall off the hanger here. And I actually, this was designed for my performance recently in the Marmorsaal of Schloss Mirabell. And today I'm wearing it for a piece called Les Joyeuses by Debussy, which is based on a painting by a French painter called Watteau, who actually was important to reinvigorate this style of the Baroque and Rococo in art.
It's beautiful. And next to you there is a black, really classical one with a red slit. How about that?
This is my Appassionata. And the reason is because the Appassionata is such a powerful, incredibly deep, dark piece. But at the same time, it represents Beethoven's fiery nature. And so this red is his fiery nature coming out.
And there's also an orange one. How about that?
Well, this dress I'm wearing today for a piece of Gershwin called by Strauss, and this dress should remind you of the beautiful dresses of the Viennese waltz.
It does.
Here for Strauss.
Well, Katie, if I got to sit in the audience today, these dresses would totally help my imagination.
Well, you got to remember, the most important thing is the music, and nothing should come ahead of the music. But if the dresses and the colors help you to visualize the music, then that is my goal.
Well, this was so much fun today. Katie, thank you so much. Am I allowed to stay a little longer to watch the program?
You are more than welcome to stay. I have to actually warm up though, but you can listen as long as you like.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.